Okay, this for a map, go to my website, this particular map. This is one that I put up onto my community support page. So if you go to www.shift-it-coach.com, you'll see there's a tab up on the site that says free coaching. And if you click that, there'll be the process group. And on the process group page, if you scroll down, you'll find a bunch of visual tools on that page. And this is one of them, help you with that. So that template's there. What this is it's a 4Z to start with. So in the middle here, we start with teasing out the polarity. And the polarity always has two ends to it, and those ends have two sides to it. So we're doing fight and peace, I guess. So desire for fight, we might find different words to language this. There's a fear of fight. And then there's the peace side. There's a desire for peace, and there's a fear of peace. So maybe even as I call these out, usually what happens with polarities, some of them we're more familiar with or comfortable with. We spend more time there consciously. There's usually one or sometimes two that, even in saying it, right? Oh, there's a fear of peace, right? For me, that's the one that would be a little more unconscious. So we don't spend a lot of time there. If you're talking about kind of neural links and stuff in the brain, there's not a groove or a pattern there. And this is where we get into non-dual oneness teachings, hence the yin yang symbol of the whole, and what we're talking about with left and right, right? This is all about non-dual and oneness work and balance. So the point of doing these is it helps to balance yourself. And it also helps to pull back projection, because often what we do, there's things that as human beings or in cultures and in families and stuff that were raised, there's some things about human beings that are acceptable and other things that aren't. And we learn very quickly to supposedly discard the things that aren't acceptable, and therefore we see them outside of ourselves as opposed to maturely, you know, owning them, because human beings have all, and this goes back to oneness teachings as well, right? And just a mature person kind of accepts that and wrestles with what's inside of them as opposed to making it wrong outside. Those bad people. Although that can certainly be going on, right? So it's yes and. So, okay, so this seems like an apropos one to play with. That's the first part, and we'll do this soon enough in the middle. There's two other parts that we'll do to conclude it. Up top, you'll see it says transcendent states. So when you wrestle with polarities and you do fair work with them and you balance it out, you're going to be able to connect with different feeling, you can call them different things, states, feelings, frequencies, whatever. But they're higher ones, and they transcend polarity. This is where we really get into the oneness state of things. And that's what all those words up are at top. Every time we work a polarity, not every transcendent state will emerge, because different polarities are connected to different states. So we'll see when we work this polarity at the end of it, you might be able to access some of these different states up here. Probably not all of them, but definitely some of them for this polarity. And then the third step, should you care to take it, is a release statement, which is really just turning it over the right brain, consciousness, the field, God, insert language and concepts that you're comfortable with. This work comes from the source here down at the bottom. There's a wonderful book called The Marriage of Spirit, and a wonderful woman called Leslie Temple Thurston, who's, you know, one of those balanced, enlightened beings in the world who went through her own transformation process and has written about it in the book. And she did a lot of polarity squares on the way to her own enlightenment state, and has gifted this work out into the world, and is fine with, she has a chapter she shares on her site. I'll be sure that we connect to that when we post this video. And she's okay with people like myself using this. And I've turned around and of course applied a visual to it, because that's what I do. So with that, let's all feel into a desire, well, let's start with maybe an easier one. Let's start with the desire for peace. And I'll prompt you and all of us, myself included, as we go along. You'll think individually, that's one place to mine, but you also want to go collectively. You might think about other people. You might put yourself in somebody who's very different from you in their shoes and feel into what it might look like from their perspective to fill out all these things. So desire for peace. Why would a human being, maybe you, desire peace? What's about peace? And let's unmute and we'll all do this. I think we'll be okay, hopefully, with the audio to unmute and build this together. Why might we have a desire for peace as a human being?
So we can feel safer, or we can feel safety?
Yeah, so for safety. Yep.
It's also more regulated, so it's peaceful. Of course, it's peaceful.
Well, that's okay. Yeah, good. Peaceful. Yeah. And I'll put regulated. So let's milk regulated. So if you're regulated, what does that mean?
Well, we all know what dysregulated means, which is our world right now. The unprecedented world, I can't say it right. The world we have now is dysregulated, and it's feeding on the dysregulation. So the opposite would be regulated. Yeah. Peaceful, safe, confident.
There you go.
Calm.
Confident, calm, and just really focusing, because when we have a regulated system, what's that feel like? What's our nervous system doing?
Grounded.
Yep. For myself, that would be about, the mind's not in high beta. The mind's more regulated, of course. So able to think better. Rational thinking.
Content. There's a sense of contentment.
Yep. Why else would a human being, maybe yourself, desire peace? I'm going to put for myself, it's nice to get along.
Connection. Yes.
Yeah, connection. Good. How about abundance, right? Like sharing.
Definitely.
I don't know how to say it in a few words, but maybe we can get there, that idea of that we can get down to the good work of moving ahead, like solving the problems that need to be solved and
collaboration.
Making the world a better place.
Yeah. Yeah, improve the world. A globe in here.
Well, just wanting to be yourself in the place of peace. Not just yourself, but connecting with others.
Yeah, and then connection. Safe to connect with others, they're being themselves. What happens if we have a peaceful world or a peaceful country or a peaceful neighborhood or a peaceful home or peace inside of ourselves?
I would think that we'd have a unified purpose, you know, individually and collectively by way of peace.
Nice.
The word evolve is coming to me too, that like as a society we can
yeah, good. I was going
evolve.
for advancement, evolution. Yeah.
I feel like we're so stuck in so many ways because our energies are being directed.
I'm going to put creative, manifesting, goodwill.
Joyful.
Yeah. Okay, we can keep milking that, but we get a sense of that essence of that one. Okay. Now we're going to go on the flip side of this. So let's go to the fear of peace. Why might a human being, and this one might be a little harder to get to, but why might a human being have a fear of peace? Or why might a collective of beings have a fear of peace?
Being taken advantage of.
Mm-hmm. Milk that. What happens if you're taken advantage of?
Then I want to fight.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that desire for fight. Yeah, we'll get there soon enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What might happen to you if you're taken advantage of? Are you cheated? Are you hurt? Are you...
I don't like the answer that's in my head. I doubt myself, thinking, what did I do wrong? Or how could I have seen that coming? Or, like I should be smarter than the person taking advantage of me.
Okay, good. So taken advantage of, doubt myself, self-criticism, should be smarter. Great. What else can we find about human beings and a potential fear of peace? What's the downside to peace?
Complacency.
Okay.
That we'll stop fighting for the things that are worth fighting for. That fear of rocking the boat, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
Or control. There's a dominance aspect of, if there's peace, then my dominance is less profound.
Okay, good. Help me if I've got that summed up. I just put rocking the boat and control.
Yes.
Well, there's something, what was there about dominance?
So coming from the aspect of, if there's peace and we're unified and working together, then there's more of a level playing field, and for those who prefer a dominant personality, that would not work in a place of peace. So fear of peace for me, I lose my place.
Oh, okay, good. So you're putting yourself into a dominant person's perspective, and they're saying, "I lose my place." Excellent. That's a great way to mind. Good. I'll lose my place. Yeah. Anything else about why human beings or the species at large, individuals might fear peace? I'll lose my place. Won't get my way.
And for that type of individual, they're in a different type of way. It's a sense of loss. For me, if there's peace, I lose nothing, but for them, they lose something. So it's just lost manifested.
What might they lost?
So I would think about control, power.
Yep. Control, power, influence,
Anything
prestige, status, prestige, somehow I spell that. Status, money.
I'm wondering about like purpose and meaning too. If you're wrapped up, if your world's been wrapped up in fighting for something, is there that identity and purpose and meaning that gets lost?
Very good. Yep.
Ooh, this is good.
We're opening it up, aren't we? Understanding this more. Yeah.
And this need to be right. Where does that live? It's on either side, probably.
Well, we'll put it in here. So you're poking into, if there's a fear of peace, then I'd have to give up being right, potentially.
Well, and even I wonder, fear of peace, like, with the bigger perspective, then I'd have to share. Is there a loss of, would it end up being a loss of actual tangible?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I put down on the list here goodies and money and goodies,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
all those tangible things. Yeah.
Have to change what I believe.
Mm.
Mhm.
Have to accept and embrace others.
Also having to give up some, it could also be giving up people, giving up connections.
Mm.
Mhm.
Talking about the tangibles, literally people tangibles. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. Yeah, a lot in there. Okay, great. More could be milked there, but we're starting to flesh this one out. It wasn't as conscious, but as we work it away, we start to poke into some things there. Now let's go up to the fear of fight. We looked at the fear of peace. Now, as we're playing out these polarities here, some of these are similar, but they have different nuances as we go to the different categories, right? It's kind of like double negatives and things. So what's the fear of fight? Why might we be afraid of fighting?
Chaos.
What else?
Discord and division,
Mm.
competing values.
Competition. Values, differences. Okay.
We might get hurt.
Yes, literally, you might die.
Yes.
People you love may die. So
Mm-hmm.
institutions may die. What else? Standing in the polarity of fight and peace, what is fearful for a human being, maybe yourself, maybe others, maybe the species? Where can we find a fear of fighting?
That fear of loss comes in here too. That
Mhm.
what can we lose? We could lose. I mean, obviously, we just talk about loss of life, but there's loss of connections and loss of things and loss of reputation.
Yeah.
Loss of freedom in some cases.
Mm-hmm.
Some it might be a loss of freedom or independence. Other innocent people could become casualties of the fight. So there's systemic impacts potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in our recent cultural, where people were dehumanized,
Mm.
and then the fights that occurred.
And there's definitely a psychological and emotional aspect to being in that type of fight mode. There's something that happens to the mind and body in response to that. It doesn't
Now,
feel
we're not in fight mode. We're actually in fear of fight mode on this category. So what's the fear of fight mode?
uncertainty
Yeah.
of act-
Uncertainty. I'm just going to put, well, scared, right? I mean, what's about you could fight, but you don't. So, and then there's a fear around fighting. So why might there be a fear around fighting?
I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Don't know how. Might be bad at it. If I was bad at fighting, I'd be a wimp. I would be overtaken.
yeah, taken advantage of again.
I would be hurt. Yes.
Well, can there be the opposite of that? Recently, out of where I was afraid I would become the monster I was fighting.
Okay, very good.
Mm.
Yeah. So fear of fighting because you don't want to become it. Good.
Right.
Excellent.
Good.
So another thing is like a pacifist. Thinking about Vietnam War and
Yes.
objectors and yeah. Okay, so if I don't want to fight, I have a fear of fighting. I have a fear of devolution, right? De-evolve, of becoming an animal, of becoming vicious, of not liking myself. Of what it might lead to.
Yes. What could happen?
Yeah, make things worse.
Mm-hmm.
No, what else is, who else would you be fighting with as a result of a fight that you might be afraid of to begin with?
Yeah, it might expand on you. Yeah.
And what if a loved one's on the other side?
Aha, very
Mm.
good.
Ooh.
Yeah, escalation.
I'm thinking of them.
Being wrong. What if I'm wrong?
Mm.
Oh, yes.
You know, but what if it was a bad call? You know, maybe what if it was misinformation and I was being intentionally stirred up or manipulated?
Mm-hmm.
That's humiliating, definitely. Yes.
Propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
Propaganda. Yeah. Yeah, being, you know, a useful idiot.
Yes.
Okay, we milked that one well. So let's go over, might be more, but we can continue to play that on our own. Let's go over to the desire for fight within ourselves, within another, within the species. Why might a human being have a legitimate desire for fight?
Injustice.
Yeah.
It does feel powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Self-righteousness.
Mm-hmm. Protection,
Mm-hmm.
self-defense.
To do my part.
Mm-hmm. Yes, as we're on doing this, just aware on Remembrance Day. Yeah.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Service.
Mm-hmm.
Patriot.
Mm-hmm.
Service. Defending freedom. Revenge.
Mm.
Bloodlust.
I think sometimes the desire fight is because you don't see any other options.
Yeah.
Yes.
No other options. Have to.
When there's no peace.
Yeah. Anything else you can find and milk in the human condition around a desire for fighting?
That sense of belonging, like
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, for sure.
join with others.
Think back on fights, fights you've been in, fights you've witnessed. Think about wars, think about conflicts. Why might there be a desire for fight?
Some relationships needs to be shook up a little bit. If
Yeah.
they're done healthy, I mean, healthy fights, but sometimes you need a little push because you just won't see the other side.
Push to see other side.
Or the way you're being going forward, something greater, and to fight for.
You're cutting out quite a bit, but I could hear for something greater.
Yes, the shifting, and the way that we're being, the habits or the behavior. Sometimes the fight creates that shift.
Right, creates a shift, creates change. Yeah. Yeah. Wakes people up. That's kind of shakes things up. Wake up. Maybe fix things.
Dismantle things.
Yep. Yeah. That's a big one. Yeah.
That sounds like 2020 right there.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, this might be encompassed already, but that drawing attention to and getting things noticed.
Yes.
If it's just, I mean, sometimes it's that fight that we can't ignore.
That does it. That gets it there.
Yeah.
Good.
And bring up, when I think of inclusion means many things. Bring others to fight for something, a bigger purpose.
When she said drawing attention to, this is exactly what's happening right now. With the visual coaching, it's drawing attention to.
Yes. Okay, that one's still in play too, but boy, you know, and this is not a very pretty template. It's always a bunch of words, but you know, it's very powerful and step by step here. 1, 2, 3, 4, we've built this out. Now we have a massive template completed. And even more importantly, inside we've poked into these different regions within ourselves and in the human condition, right? And it's probably balanced some of it out. Some of it was a little lopsided before. So now I'm going to go into the transcendent states, and we started a certain place. We did all this in our work. We're probably feeling in a different place than where we started. So to identify some words to go with that different state that we're now at, let's see if any of these are a match. And just call them out if they land for you. We don't have to have consensus, right? It's okay if it lands for some and doesn't for others. How about acceptance? Do you have a little more? Yeah, this one did something with acceptance. Attunement, balance, bliss, maybe not quite. How about clarity?
Clarity, yes.
Yeah.
Clarity.
How about compassion?
That was a big one for me.
Yeah.
Detachment, devotion, dharma, discernment.
Discernment.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Equality, equanimity. Yeah. Was that a yes? Yep. Okay. Equanimity,
Yeah.
eternality means like foreverness. Maybe not so much. How about faith? Flow, forgiveness.
Yeah.
Yes.
Generosity,
Yeah.
grace.
Great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a big one. Gratitude,
Yes.
Yes.
harmlessness. Interesting as we're talking about fight. Yeah. Harmony.
Yes, the person.
Which
Yes.
one were you saying too?
Yes, I would say, well, you know, it's interesting. Harmlessness, if I'm looking at it in the context of how will we achieve that through one of these polarities, but then harmony for me would be the essence of the solution or part of the solution in all of these quadrants. So it works for me, the harmony.
It's peace.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's not so much the one of the components, but as you balance out the full range of these things, it may be, I mean, this is where you really get into oneness in terms of peace at a oneness level. Peace at a oneness level actually contains conflict, right? And
Yeah.
it contains the ugliness of humanity, right? And
Right.
that one actually maintains a harmony despite that. Humility. This is a big one. I feel this big with this. It's humbling, isn't it? To poke in and find some things, go, oh, yeah, there's some juice in there for me. Yeah, not so much the other, or yes, it's a human condition. How about impeccability? Maybe not so much on this one. Joy, loyalty,
Loyalty.
neutrality.
That's necessary.
Probably helps neutralize a little bit some of this too. The flip reactions to these things. Patience.
Yeah.
Purity. Quiescence. Everybody asks me what it is and I can never remember. Samadhi. Samadhi is like ultimate enlightenment state. Selflessness. Surrender.
Surrender.
For me, there's something in there about surrendering a little to
My
the human being's tendency to fight.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Tolerance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trust.
Yeah.
Truth.
Yeah.
Big time. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the truth, right? All of it. Unconditional love. Unity.
That's the goal.
Yep. Wisdom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely makes us a little wiser. Yeah. Okay, and third step of the process, I'll read this statement, and then if you want to, you can join me in saying it aloud after I read it. I'll do it twice. So just so you understand what you may opt to say, this is release statement. O eternity, please take all these states of mind, which are unbalanced in this pattern, and balance and clear them. Do this so that I may see more clearly and find my way home more easily. I give thanks knowing it will be done. If you care to join me, I'm just going to rattle it straight through. So hopefully you can read it on your end. O eternity, please take all these states of mind, which are unbalanced in this pattern, and balance and clear them. Do this so that I may see more clearly and find my way home more easily. I give thanks knowing it will be done. That's like releasing it to the bigger intelligence here. Yeah. Okay, everyone, that's who we are, you know, today when we come. It's different every time who drops by, what the state of the world is, and what ends up emerging. So I thank you for the work that has been done. Let's just pass around the mic if there's any closing comments. I'll start with yourself, Kristen.
Two things. Gratitude. I'm really grateful for that. It was the four of us that ended up here. That was, it was such valuable time. So thank you. And the other word that came clearly was settled. And it was only after the word came that I realized I opened with a strong emphasis on restless. So that's nice. I'm feeling very much like very content and settled. So thank you.
And there's your polarity that we're trying to find.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Yay!
Restless and settled. Nice. Denise.
I find this very timely in our world today. I had to really listen to things I hadn't thought before and accept that, you know, I can get caught in either side, that I'm just as human.
Yeah.
But that this was done in this way feels very, what's the word? I can't come up with the word. I just want to say divine and uplifting and hopeful. Hopeful. There's the word, hopeful.
Nice. Thank you. Mika.
Denise, I'm going to piggyback off of what you said. I am optimistically hopeful. I started today with the intention on yesterday. Yesterday, I made the intention that today was going to be a day where I am really focusing on me, relaxed, intentional, and optimistic. And I saw the note and got on the line. And I just want to say thank you all for sharing. And I feel affirmed.
Mm.
And so thank you for everything that you brought to the table. And Christina, thank you for your service and the gift that you offer.
Yes, thank
Yeah.
It's with great gratitude and appreciation that you have no idea how many lives you're changing. And thank you for that. And thank you for the work that you're doing, everybody. I just
Right back at you.
Yeah. You too.
Mm-hmm.
yes. And I made new friends, connection.
you.
Yeah.
Well, that was process group number 23. I think I will just keep on going. So I will look at the schedule and figure out when the next one will be in the next couple of weeks. You're all on the list, so you'll get an announcement from my assistant, Pat, when I've decided on that. She'll also follow up with the video and the maps from today. And what else is not much is on the agenda. Visual coach certification for 2020 is trucking along. I'm figuring out the 2021 dates. I think I'm going to do it in my usual start month, which is April, but I may wait till September. So I'm still figuring that out. My mind is turning to January season. I will have a New Year's sale. I'm going to we have 3 more kits coming, home study kits. The cartoon and storyboard is coming. Heads and Hands Fast and Loose with Rhoda, and the Shift into Digital Work is coming. And I think I'm gonna, for the New Year's sale, put all the kits, it'll be 8 kits now, 50% off. So that's gonna happen. And what else will launch? I might do another satsang. I have 2 full satsangs right now. It's like what we're doing here, but it's a private group. And so the recordings are just with the people in that group. It's not shared publicly. And the ones I'm running right now are 24 sessions long. So you really get to know the people in the group and you really get to go deep with the inner work. So I'm kind of thinking I may put another one of those together for January or maybe February or something and have it run through that season. But of course, everything is dependent on what the heck happens in the world and what unfolds for me individually and us collectively. So this is the normal things I do in November is figure out, normally I have it all figured out, but this year is just, nope, so many things are just demolished in my particular curriculum. So I'm Phoenix from the flames here and figuring out what now is emerging and what feels right. And back to what Kristen was saying, right? Where's the sparkle? Where's the joy? Where's the service? Where's the things that are like, yes, I want to do that. That would be meaningful to me and something I want to do. So I'm right in that creative process of figuring that all out. And it's feeling this is exciting, you know, this is good, not this is shit, which is a nice place to be. Yeah, because it definitely has felt like this is shit at times this last year. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for coming. That's who we are today. Take good care and see you when I next see you. Yeah.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Yay, Kristen.
Yay, that we connected. We have to connect.
Yes.
Thank you,
Have a
thank
great
you.
day, everybody.
Thank you, Christina.
Yeah, take good care. Bye now.